greatest equals, we'll start it off with that. And then I will say, for something in values, if something is greater than the greatest we've seen so far, greatest is assigned that something. And then, of course, here, I print out the greatest. Okay? Here's a mistake I saw somebody make. And it's not obviously a mistake. Greatest is some really big negative number. Right? It's less than all the values in the list. And then I can just say, for each item in the list, well, the very first value is going to be greater than that. So it becomes the new greatest. And after that, we're only ever using values from here. This will still work in this case. But pretty clearly, if all of these values were minus 1,000,002, minus 5,000,002, minus 77,000,002, this would give the wrong answer. Right? Where did that minus 10,000 come from? Right? Somebody just said, well, I guess this is going to be less than anything, so all those ones are going to be greater, so this will work. Yeah, I don't trust my input data. Okay? No matter what I pick as being a reasonable starting point, well, this must be less than any real signal, or this must be greater than any real signal. Sooner or later, the program will break because the real data won't conform to my expectations. So it is really unsafe to make assumptions about the data. Always base your answers solely on the data. Yes, you might believe that the signal strength is always going to be greater than 0. Right? Or greater than equal to 0. So if we're looking for what is the minimum or what is the maximum signal strength we've seen so far, we can start off as a negative number. Sure, that'll be safe until somebody takes your function and uses it in a different context. Right? You want to write code according to the principle of least surprise. Nobody should be surprised by what happens when they use it. And if you wire in assumptions like this, sooner or later somebody will be surprised. Okay? And that's why I would write this as values 0, because that way I'm only ever relying on the data I was given. I'm never guessing about its properties. And my guesses might be true today, but they might not be true tomorrow. Or they might not be true when I've modified the code that's producing the list that I'm trying to maximize here. Everybody understand why, please?
Does value 0 refer to the first one in the series?
Yep. Okay? Because we start counting from 0 in Python. Ground floor. 0 is the ground floor. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let's watch what happens here. I'm going to trace this by saying print greatest versus something. Let me get rid of that. Okay. 2 versus 2. Remember, I initialized with the 0th element. So here, that loop is going to go over all the values. So the first time around, I'm doing a redundant test. I'm comparing it with itself. I can live with that. After that, 2 versus 5, 5 versus 77, 77 versus minus 3, versus the 0, the 0, the 9, the 4. Okay, this seems to be doing the right thing. Okay?